to the show, everybody. So when it comes to our diet, fiber plays an important role. And there's good news for those if you have a sweet tooth. You can add fiber to your desserts by throwing ancient grains into the mix.
Yeah, and here to teach us how is baker extraordinaire Gavan Knox. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so it says it in the title, ancient grains. They've been around for a very long time, but they are trending now. So first of all, what are they and why are they having this huge comeback?
So ancient grains are basically a series of grains and cereals which predate modern wheat by thousands of years. And they are pretty much in the same state as they were thousands of years ago. So they haven't been processed by modern farming techniques or genetically modified. And because of that, they are chock full of nutrients, fibers, proteins.
Healthier.
So with kind of people becoming more health conscious in different levels, they've really kind of come to the front again. And because of that, they're also more readily available in supermarkets. So some of the larger stores will actually have them. You don't have to go trekking through the internet to try find them.
Or trekking up a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. You know, labor intensive.
Okay, so let's start with the first ancient grain, which is amaranth. Okay, so tell us, what is amaranth?
So amaranth is a grain that has actually been cultivated for thousands of years. I mean, the Aztecs held it in really, really high authority. And you can use it in this flour format, or you can use it, like I've done here, in its grain format.
Okay, you made them, you made cherry bars with amaranth. So let's give those a try.
So these are cherry bars that I've made with puffed amaranth, which is the grain which has been puffed up over heat. And I've mixed together the amaranth with some toasted pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and almonds. Whilst they're toasting, you mix together some tart cherries, blitz that with some maple syrup, a little bit of water and a pinch of salt, mix it all together, bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes, slice it up, and you have these bars.
It's like a breakfast bar.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And they keep for about a week as well.
Delicious.
All right, so amaranth can be ground down into a flour. So what should we know about it and how to use it?
So the flour itself, amaranth flour, has a kind of an earthy, peppery flavor. So you're better off sticking to lower portions of it in a mix, maybe about 25% amaranth flour to 75% whole wheat or all-purpose flour. Anything over that, your bake can kind of end up a little bit dense, a little bit gritty.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next ancient grain, which is spelt. Some people have heard of that, but what is that?
So spelt is actually really interesting ancient grain. Out of all of them, it's the one that's closest to modern wheat. It's almost like whole wheat, but unlike that, it has a different molecular structure. This is where I get nerdy. And because of that, it's actually easier for your body to process down and digest. So it has that advantage over it. It's got a really, really nice kind of warm, wheaty flavor to it.
Okay, love that. And you use spelt in these mocha black bean brownies. How did you make them? Break it all down as
So these are using the spelt flour to stop the brownies being so dense and give them a bit of a cakey texture. You're going to blitz together some dates that you've soaked in coffee, and then add in your black beans, which takes the place of normal flour. Add in some pumpkin puree, maple syrup. That will give you your wet ingredients. Mix that together with your dry, which is the spelt flour, some cocoa powder, some ground chia seeds, and a little bit of baking powder. And bake them like you would a normal brownie. So about maybe 30 minutes in a moderate oven. Slice them up, and away you go.
And off you go. This is so chewy. It's delicious. Okay, let's move on to the next ancient grain, which is something I've never heard of, I don't think. It's called teff.
Yeah, teff is probably one of the ones that's lesser known of it. Now, the key thing to remember with teff is small is mighty. So it's actually the grain of a grass, and it's native to Ethiopia and grows kind of in conditions that might be a little bit harsher for other grasses and grains to grow in. It's huge nutrient content. It's got 8 out of the 9 amino acids. It's, really, really boastful in sense of protein and fibers.
Okay, so it's really healthy, but we're also gonna make, you're gonna make chocolate peanut butter cookies.
Yes.
Which does not sound as healthy, but
I'm gonna take the healthiness of the teff and marry it together with something not so healthy. So I've got some mashed banana, which I've mixed with egg, some olive oil, some oat flour, and then that's your wet ingredients. Combine that with your teff flour, along with some salt, and you'll be able to scoop it into cookie shapes. About maybe 10 to 12 minutes in an oven, give you a soft cookie. They're a softer cookie, so that if you look for a crispy cookie, maybe cook them for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and what should we know about baking with teff?
So teff, again, like I said, small is mighty with it. So stick towards having it at the lesser end of your baking ratio. So again, 25%. Otherwise, you get kind of a bitter, earthy flavor in there and something that can be quite crumbly.
Okay.
It's dense. I like that. It's dense.
Yeah.
Again, you can have one, and this is like a meal.
Yeah, it's not like a little dainty size thing. But I like these because they're almost like the protein level of things where, you know, you can pick them up along with your breakfast or whatever, and you know you're good for a few hours.
Yeah, it'll sit
Yeah.
with some weight in your belly. Okay, we're gonna end with buckwheat, which is blowing up. Like, guys, buckwheat is so big right now. Listen,
Is it the Taylor Swift of grains?
it is the Taylor Swift of grains.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. This is the trend, a part of a
Yep.
big food trend in 2024. What's so big about buckwheat?
Yep, buckwheat, as you said, is going to be big. However, the thing to bear in mind is it's not actually a wheat, despite its name. It's a seed.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can use it in its flour format, as I've done in some of these. However, here I've used it in its sprouted format. So I've done there, I've taken the seeds of it, also known as the groats, and you sprout them in some water for a couple of days. So you see a little tail. And with these, the donuts, you take that sprouted buckwheat, mix it with some shredded coconut, some dates, again, that you've soaked, a little bit of maple syrup and grated apple. Blitz that up until you get like a dough that's almost like putty.
Yeah.
And then there you have your donuts.
Yeah, the teleprompter says to try these donuts, but I see somebody
It just is going straight in, straight in.
I'm like, okay, so let me do the follow-up. Do you need a special donut making tray to make these donuts?
Whilst you're enjoying them there, I'll talk about the technicality of it.
Go ahead, I'll just be over here.
You're
It's
happy
fine,
there at the
it's fine.
end. No, you don't actually. Despite how they're shaped, because the dough is so dense and thick, you can basically break off pieces, shape it into a puck. And I use my pinky just to make the hole in the middle, shape it a bit more. However, when it comes to baking them, you'll bake them at a really low temp. We're talking 150, 170 for about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you're almost dehydrating it rather than just your regular baked donut.
Okay,
and
good
because of that, it keeps all the nutrients.
Delicious.
Well,
Thank
Gavin, you could tell that I'm enjoying myself very, very much over here. So thank you for all of these. Really, really interesting. Love that.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.